Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's start with our opening prayer and get our cards going and ready to help. Okay, so O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my mother, my father, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. Hi, Amelia. And all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so we're just going to get started. I'm going to dive right in. Hi, Mattis. How are you doing? I think everyone's feeling the turnaround. There was some really deep clearing going on last week and then big shift the last couple of days. So I can feel everybody clearing, everybody starting to shift, evolve, and grow. Let's see if we have a theme for today. Let's ask the angels what our theme for today is. Okay, so answered prayer. So sometimes the answer to prayers looks different than we think it's going to look, right? We're expecting one answer and we get something else. When it comes to answered prayers, the angels are always saying, look for God's plan, right? Look for God's plan, not your plan. Very often, human ego is very much involved in how we pray and in the results that we would like to get. So when you pray for divine intervention, when you pray for God and the angels to help you, you have to be open to the answer sometimes being a little bit different than you expected that it would be, right? Because we often pray from the level of consciousness of helplessness and victim mindset, and that's not divine consciousness. God is ultimate and infinite power. Okay, let's do this. Cosetta's saying, can you give me advice on my health? Well, I can ask the angels for you, darling. That is what we do on here. We ask the angels for help and we go from there. Okay, so, surrender and release. So you can see this angel's holding this. There's a lot of water inside this jar and it's like leaking out. So there's this energy of really calling in Archangel Michael. You can see the blue and purplish wings in the background, and of releasing these emotions that are being held, blocked in, held in, and surrendering to what is. So very often people get stuck in situations because they fall in love with a fantasy or they fall in love with an illusion. They're like, oh, I finally found it. And then they stop being present with what's actually happening. So this card is about being present, surrender, let the denial break, accept what's going on, and release the situation. When we ask for help, you have to give the situation over to God. Just like when you want a letter to be posted, you actually have to give the letter to the postman, right? So when you want a situation resolved, you have to let go of control. So we're going to call on Archangel Michael to just cut your cards to controlling the situation, controlling the outcome, controlling a person, controlling yourself, God, and put God in control. There we go. Ooh. Let go and surrender. Some of the most powerful words of the English language. Let go. Okay. Another card that came kind of hidden, stuck in here is divine timing, right? Divine timing. And this is something that's become so much more strong because since I've had my son, because there are so many things. He's only just turned 2, but there are so many things that he wants to be able to do, that he really thinks he can do, that he is just not. He's not at the developmental stage to be able to do it. Right? Whether that's to use something like the oven or use a knife, or there's so many things that he wants to do that are just not safe for him to do yet. And this really made me understand God's perspective, because I deeply, on every level, not at the price of his safety, not at the price of him coming to harm, right? So it's the same with creator for you. So anywhere where you are holding on to something that is causing you harm, right? Cutting you, hurting you, where you are trying to be someone you're not, or you're trying to pretend you have a level of ability that you just don't have yet. Let's release it all to God. And let's also return to trust that when God says no, there's a reason. There we go. God's rejection is protection. Okay. So Amelia saying, M here. Hi, beautiful. Could you please ask the angels if I should keep or sell my flat in Poland this year? Thank you. My love, I think you've already asked me this question, and the answer was that I'm going to check again, but the answer was very much to keep the flat and to increase your income and to keep investing, that now was not the best time to sell anything. But I will ask again for you, but I remember the answer to this. The answer was do not sell anything right now. Yeah, trust that it's not like, sometimes you have to trust your I know you really have to trust your gut, especially when people are low on cash or low on funds. They start making very bad decisions, right? Selling assets when their price is the lowest it could possibly be is a bad decision. The good decision is to raise your worth, to create other streams of income. 1 second, let me just grab my husband, the baby's awake. Todd. Daddy's got the baby. Nap officially over. Okay. So like, you never ever sell an asset from a place of fear. It's literally not a good idea. Not only do you get people who are going to buy it who will not give you the correct value or the correct worth, but you will then take that money and you will spend it on what they call liabilities instead of assets. Okay, so if you're selling something from a place of unworthiness, you don't believe you deserve to have savings, you don't believe you deserve to have assets, you don't believe you deserve to be abundant, right? Or you don't believe that you are, then that is the reality that you will create. So never sell assets from a place of fear. Okay, you always want to sell assets from a place of power. And this is like, I'm just going to be really stubborn here. Listen to your divine guidance. This is what I mean. When God says no, it's for a reason. And if you do not listen, God will stay by your side, but you will have to live with the consequences of the decisions you make from a place of fear. And those decisions are ugly, right? I know that faith has a price. It takes a lot of discipline to hold the faith, to walk in faith instead of by sight, but it has a very strong reward. You get to increase in your worth, you get to serve the planet, you get to trust God more and more every day. When you are making decisions from a place of fear, your trust in God is being broken down every day. Your worth decreases, your health decreases, your faith in life starts to go down. So immediate gratification, like that immediate relief that you feel when you make decisions from a place of fear, is nothing compared to the long-term pain that you will feel, okay, if you make decisions from a place of fear. It's that simple. So let's take a moment to just release the belief that your source of abundance is a flat, and let's unplug you from that, because it's just a lie. Your source of abundance is God. You've been given a bounty of spiritual and emotional gifts and intellectual gifts and talents that you can monetize. Right? Stop seeing yourself as small fry. Stop seeing yourself as helpless. Stop seeing yourself as incapable. Just stop. I want you to start saying, I am well able. I can do all things through my higher power. I am blessed in the city. I am blessed in the field. Everything that is placed in my hands, every dream, every gift will prosper and succeed. Okay. Jazz is saying, hey, please, may I ask for a heart scan? Thank you. Yep, let's have a look. Okay, so immediately I'm being shown lack of self-care. So that's a major neglect wound that we're dealing with here. So many of us, particularly because mothers were carrying this invisible load, were raised by women who were forced to neglect themselves and who were neglected by everybody inside their family. They didn't have time to have a shower, to do their hair, to particularly in those ages of 0 to 3, right? Because their husband was far away or their partner was far away at work, if they were lucky enough to have a partner. And then their families were like, well, you chose to be a mom, so you're in it alone, which is really ugly, but that's what became of the 80s, 90s, 60s, right? So we often have this very deep neglect wound on an unconscious level, like this heartbreaking neglect wound where we will completely neglect ourselves. And that's what's coming up. Yeah, you can see got the guardian angel card. So you can see the guardian angel consoling this little child sitting on the steps, right? So it's this energy. Okay, much better. Anita's saying, could you please ask the angels what they have for me? Thank you. Yep, let's have a, oh, why? Okay. Sorry, guys, but all the questions just went because we lost the connection. Can you please just type in your questions again? Because the chat box just completely cleared. I can't see any of the questions. I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to see if I can see you on my landing page. Yeah, here we go. I've got some questions on here. Only 2 though. Okay, so Dee's saying, if my last message got lost, can you tell me why I resist charging for healings? Thank you so much, Sky. So we often healers often resist charging for healings for a few reasons. The first is, oh, there we go. My chat box is back. So the healers resist charging for healings for a few reasons. The first is often like religious vows and oaths. For a very long time, healers have been controlled by religion or by the church. And the idea is that the church would provide for us and then we would do the healing work and the taking care of the people. But in exchange for the church providing for us, we would have to give them everything: our property, our money, our land, our title. And then the church becomes very wealthy, but the healers become very poor. And there's often lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of this being the case. right? So that's the first one, is to clear any vows that you have to give away all of your stuff, and that you are going to help the people who are the most helpless in society completely for free. The next level that comes up is like our saboteur archetype, the part of you that's afraid that you can't really help anybody. And then you avoid responsibility, right? For providing a service, for getting clear about what you really want. You hide, right? You hide from people, you don't do your marketing, you don't take your business seriously, all because deep down you don't believe you can help. You don't believe you're a good healer. You don't believe, you've got like healer imposter syndrome, as it were. And this really triggers like the saboteur archetype. Um, and then we tend to get stuck in the hiding because deep down we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe we've got something, and we don't believe we've got an extraordinary gift or an important gift to give to the world. So it's very important to clear the wounds from childhood and from other lifetimes where you stop believing in yourself, or where you stop believing in your gifts. Because if you don't believe in yourself, it's very difficult to attract in people who don't believe in you. The other one, which is very common, is that you just don't believe there are enough people with money to pay you. That's a very common one. The scarcity mindset, this lack mindset, we kind of gripping to, we have to take whatever client comes along, even if they can't pay us, right? As opposed to this energy of, there are billions of people in the world, and there are my divine match clients, or my divine life purpose clients, and they are a vibrational match for me. So the same way that women get told you have to take any guy that comes along, beggars can't be choosers, healers get told you have to help everybody that comes along, which genuinely doesn't work. Not only are your gifts unique, like you're a lock and somebody else is a key, and you either fit together or you don't. But if you are pulling in or magnetizing clients from that place, you'll attract people who don't take responsibility, who aren't ready, who tell you that they have a set of values, but then act like their actual priorities are completely different than their values, because they don't know themselves well enough. You get people who are at the very beginning of their journey, who are still in that inner child archetype and giving away all their power. So it's very important for you, this is like to really get clear, to realize there is enough clients, there's enough divine purpose clients, and you do not say yes to everybody that comes along. You say yes to the people who are actually a good fit for the service that you have, the gift that you are to the world. And that and then you're constantly switching from this energy of lack and gripping to surrendering and trusting, right? Because if you're in this energy of lack and gripping, that's where people become dishonest. That's where they try and convince people to do things they're not ready to do. So the idea is not to try and get a client to work with you, or heal a resistant client. The idea is to work with people who are ready to heal, who are worthy of healing, who are gonna put in the work just like you, who are going to value your time and your services, who have good boundaries, right? So those are the three reasons why healers tend to refuse to charge for their services. But the biggest saboteur one is they just don't want the responsibility of dealing with money as well. A lot of, especially healers, especially female healers, are in this energy of, I just don't want to deal with the money, and they're terrified because they're not good at math. And what I say to them is, look, if it's not your thing, then what you need to do is get a basic financial education. You need to be able to know if somebody is swindling you. Okay, you need to be able to know that. Need to be able to balance your books. As soon as you are able to do that, you can outsource to an accountant, right? But you need to have a basic level of financial education. You need it. It's non-negotiable. You need to have a basic level of financial understanding. Okay, otherwise you'll be taken advantage of. So let's take a moment to just send so much love to the part of us that doesn't want the responsibility. Doesn't want the responsibility for the money, doesn't want the responsibility for the clients, doesn't want the responsibility. And the part of us that doesn't believe that we can do it. And let's just release that to God. Let's change it for a belief of, I can do it. And I hold the responsibility with integrity. There we go. Sarah Ann is saying, "Hi Sky, what messages do the angels have for me? I think my message disappeared." Yeah, the computer's been very glitchy today, which is highly unusual, but is what it is. Okay. Okay. Oh, serenity is the message I get for you, Sarah. So that the serenity prayers grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the wisdom to change the things I can, and the courage to know the difference. Okay. So it was originally written for addicts. And the idea is that you need to cultivate inner peace, that every addiction comes from a lack of peace, and you trying to use a substance to numb the wound or cover the wound that you're dealing with. And serenity is the actual virtue or the value that you use to create inner peace, right? Serenity is a spiritual word for inner peace, like a strong sense of inner peace that comes from within, not from a substance, not from, sex, not from work, not from success. Serenity is the spiritual virtue of inner peace. There we go. We're just going to bring in serenity for everybody that needs it now and surround you with the angels of serenity. Okay. Okay. Amanda Marie is saying, "Can I have a health reading?" Okay, let's see what the angels. Oh, I'm getting pulled to the divine feminine cards. Let's see what we got. Okay, Anne Marie, what's coming up for you? So it's definitely a female health issue. Oh, mother of believers. I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. So this card always comes up when we're carrying resentment around providing for ourselves and providing for others. It's a card that you can see that she's wearing a gold necklace, and the one that's shining is the one over her heart. It's a card that recognizes that provision is a divine virtue, and that unconditional provision only comes from women being able to letting go of these beliefs that you shouldn't be provide other people should provide for you, that you're somehow like it's like this really toxic self-pity that's blocking the abundance, this hatred at providing for others, this feeling of confusing providing and provision with being used. So let's just release all of that distortion and the rage. Now, the rage for providing for others, right, it comes from you being unwilling to provide for yourself. So the problem is not that you're providing for others. The problem is that right now in your mind, you are making it you or them. It comes from a place of lack. I don't have enough to provide for everybody, including me. I either provide for them or I provide for me. Right? So we have to put you into the energy of God's provision as well. It can't just be you're providing for the kids, the partner, you're doing everything. That can't be how it works, right? Especially if you're keeping yourself away from the receiving, you have to be in the energy of receiving God's provision as well. That's how you manifest provision for you and for everybody you love. And it's 100% possible. Loads of my clients bring in so much abundance that they don't just provide for themselves. They buy houses and flats for their parents, for their children, for their community, right? So this overflow is possible. It doesn't come from a place of overgiving. It comes from from the virtue of charity. There we go. This idea that there's enough for overflow. Woo. But you have to let yourself receive. You have to let God provide for you too. You have to stop holding provision at bay to prove your worth. Okay. Health. But the where I'm getting the places I'm getting shown is heart and adrenal glands. Okay, so we're just going to do an instant healing on your heart. Can we pull out all these cords of rage and resentment, this belief that people used you being in love with them to steal from you, take from you, that they only want you for money? Let's just release that from your heart now. Okay, it's looking a lot better. Angie is saying, hello, beautiful Skylar. Could you please ask the angels what is the best way for me to accelerate my healing business? Okay, so I literally, I'm going to pull a card for you, but what I'm immediately getting, like, visibility, visibility, visibility. You're hiding. You're hiding, you're hiding, you're hiding. Oh, okay. So the card that you got is a joy permeated mother. I am my own guru. I know myself, and that never changes. So it's this energy of showing up, of owning that you are a spiritual teacher, owning that you are the it girl, owning that you are the chosen one, right? Which is a very strange energy. Doreen Virtue says it best. She says, if you get nervous, focus on service. But the core is looking at where you're not showing up, where you're requiring perfection before you show up, where you're requiring to be finished before you show up, where you're showing up wearing a mask instead of showing up in all your different faces. So you guys see, some days I show up here and I have my makeup on and everything's done and I'm fresh. And someday I show up here and my hair's dirty and I have baby puke on my jumper. But what's consistent is that I show up, right? I show up. And it's the same thing in my life. I am not, my best doesn't look the same every day, right? And neither will yours. But that doesn't mean it's not your best. So it's the energy of showing up no matter what, of serving humanity no matter what, in the best way that you can that day, right? But making service a part of your routine, making service a part of your life so that people can build a genuine, authentic level of trust with you, because trust is built consistently over time, right? Trust is not built it's not built overnight, and it's not built in grand gestures. Trust is built in little daily acts of love, daily acts of practical support. Okay, the other card that came through for you is the Patroness of Miraculous Healing. I am ready to heal. I am worthy of the miracles meant for me. So this is a theme today of particularly the female healers who are listening, withholding the miracles from themselves, letting their clients have the miracles, letting their children have the miracles, letting their friends have the miracles, and withholding the miracles from themselves, right? So God is not withholding your miracle from you, but you are. So can anywhere where you're withholding the miracle, take a moment, right? Where are you blocking your miracles? Why are you blocking your miracles? Oh, there we go. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Esme is saying, can I please have a message from the angel? Whoa. Major throat chakra clearing. Let's get in Archangel Gabriel and clear the energy around that one. Gosh, girl. Major fear of speaking your truth coming up there. Let's see what we need to clear for you. Oh, the goddess of magic. Sexual energy is sacred. My pleasure is a prayer that brings me back to life. So, Can we do a sexual healing on your throat chakra where you are not allowed to express pleasure? You are not allowed to express creativity. You're not allowed to express joy. I'm not sure if this is because you have an abuser in your life. I'm not sure if this is a childhood wound. It might be both, but your womb, your base chakra, they should be connected to your heart, your throat, your crown. There we go. We make noise when we make love, right? We make noise when we're happy. We laugh. We throw back our heads and we laugh and we giggle and we express joy. We sing to worship. We sing to express joy. We sing to our children. We sing to God. There we go. Okay. Jennifer Morgan, good morning. I'm finding I'm frozen in fear again when it comes to making moves in either of my businesses. Would love guidance from the angels. Okay, let's see what the angels have to say. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Oh, the mystic of peace. I am peace. Where my mind is clear, the way is clear. So the angels are showing me there's a trust wound going on. You were told to only make safe choices, and that is going to keep you stuck for your whole life because there are no safe choices. There are only choices. All paths have risk. All paths have challenges. Right? So if when you're on a path, whether in business or spiritually, and you face challenges and what you hear from yourself is you've chosen the wrong path, go back, right? You'll never get very far. So you have to do the healing on the part of you that starts doubting your path and start doubting your capacity, right? When you face challenges. So that part then goes, you're on a path, you face a challenge, and that part goes, you can do this, right? We're going to find a way. If there is no way, we're going to make a way. You're on the right path, right? This is your divine curriculum. Life is working for you, right? But this idea that you're only making the right choice if you are safe is an illusion. Safety is an illusion, right? The only safe place is God. So let's take a moment to just release the analysis paralysis, the perfectionism, so that you can make a choice based on your intuition, based on your higher power, and so that you can have your own back when you face the challenges that are going to come on the road that you choose. There is no path without challenges, and it's not a sign that you're stupid. It's not a sign that you chose wrong. It's just a sign, right? That you are learning, that you are well able, that you are capable, that God can do all things through you, that God will fulfill his purpose in you. No one said a spiritual life was a life without challenges, except like this very strange new age community, right? It's just not true. There is not a spiritual life. Jesus, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Louise Hay. There is not a spiritual teacher that has not had challenges. Let go of the idea that being successful or being spiritual means you will not have problems. Being enlightened is not the absence of problems. Take a minute with me and think about like the Dalai Lama, right? That's an enlightened being on this earth, and his job is to solve problems all day long. People bring him spiritual problems, from politicians to mothers with sick children to every problem on the earth. That is like literally, the more enlightened you are, the more problems you solve through the mind of God, right? You love the person, you love God, you become this bridge, and suddenly God is able to move in their life. God is able to move the miracles, move the mountains, move the pain, because your mind and their mind are joined and they trust you. until they're able to develop a strong enough belief in their higher power for themselves, right? So, but it's not, an enlightened life is not an absence of challenge, it's not an absence of problems. Ease is not the absence of challenge or the absence of problems. Ease is peace. Ease is connection to God. Ease is knowing that you are one with all living things. Ease is not the absence of challenge. There we go. Stop beating yourself up for having challenges. Focus on solutions. Okay. Okay, Infinite, can I please get a scan and a message from the angels? Yep, let's see. I for Infinite, the message that we are getting for you is Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Empress of Protection. I am safe and divinely protected. I am held in love at all times. So we're just going to bring in this saint and also Archangel Michael, Jesus, Mother Mary, and remove all the beliefs that your protection lies in someone else's hands. You generate your own safety. You generate your own protection. You generate your own power. Just bringing your power back to you. You're giving your power away. You're living in fear. So let's just take back your safety. It's yours. Safety is a state of consciousness that then manifests as a state of being. Okay. Okay, we've done Sarah Ann. Hi, Sky. I just did a thyroid and gut checkup. Doctors say all is good, but I feel they're missing something, or am I paranoid? I am experiencing all the symptoms of thyroid disease. Please and thank you. You're not paranoid. You're just going to need to go to a different doctor or pay for a private service. Um, you have to check more than one type of thyroid hormone very often to find out what's going on. You're not paranoid. You just have to keep going till you find the answer, right? But if you are not feeling good, you're not paranoid. You are not a hypochondriac. Your body's telling you something is wrong, and it's prevention is the best cure, right? So start working on being able to speak your truth. Start working on being who you are instead of people pleasing, right? That's the metaphysical block when it comes to thyroid issues or thyroid chakras. Start taking your iodine, your selenium, your zinc on a consistent basis, because thyroid issues and the production of thyroxine is heavily dependent on zinc, selenium, and iodine. And the absence of those three minerals is the main cause of all thyroid issues long term, right? So for the next year, you are taking those every day, twice a day. And you have to choose a different doctor. If your doctors don't take you seriously, if your doctors don't look for other avenues, if you are saying I'm tired and I'm not feeling okay and they're going everything is fine, they are not your doctors, right? A doctor has to believe you. They're not, especially because of the vulnerability of sickness. It's not your job to be fighting your health provider, right? So you need to choose doctors who believe you. You need to make sure the tests that they ran. I've had so many. It's been making me furious how many of my clients are going to the doctors. The doctors are going to test came back normal. The tests that the doctors are running are just absolute crap on a stick. When I look at the tests, they're like what the NHS can afford or what their clinic can afford, and they show me nothing. They are not complete. They don't tell me what I need to know. I've got no idea how they're running a clinic based on those kinds of results, right? So them people saying to you they ran a test and they came back good, you need to say, can I see those? A huge part of your you being healthy is you learning to advocate for your health. Can I see what tests you ran? Can I see what your definition of good is? What exactly are you basing this diagnosis on? I am not feeling well. Can you refer me to an expert, right? Particularly if you're dealing with a GP or a general practitioner. If they do not know what is wrong, then you need to be referred on to somebody who has a higher level of skill to help you find out what is wrong before it becomes something serious. Prevention is the best thing, right? It's prevention is way easier than a cure. So no, you're not paranoid, you're not crazy. There is something wrong. You have to keep going until you find out what it is. So I would definitely get, mineral deficiency tests run. I would what's the word? Get referred to a specialist and get a full, ask them for a full panel, because if it's not thyroid, there are many things that can make you feel exhausted all the time. B vitamin deficiency, anemia, iron deficiency, adrenal hormone production, what's it called? Constant chronic stress, sleep apnea. There are many things that can cause symptoms that are very similar to thyroid problems. So if they do not know what is wrong, right? The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. If you know there's something wrong with your body and you're getting guided there's something wrong with your body, then you have to advocate for yourself. Take Archangel Gabriel with you. Take Archangel Raphael with you. Do not be afraid to use your spiritual sword and to stand for your right to have a divine physician, to stand for your right that every hand that touches you is a healing hand, to advocate for your health. There we go. You have to believe you. You have to believe you. In a system where on average women have to go to 6 different doctors before they get an accurate diagnosis across the globe, you have to believe in yourself. You are worth it. Your health is worth it. Okay. Matthias is saying, can you please bless my finances? Grateful for work. If you're resentful about having to work, then you will never value the work others give you. A healing session is the work of another person, right? You where we have entitlement culture, right? Where people are biting the hand that feeds them. Why would your boss be nice to you or good to you if you hate your boss? Why would your boss give you a promotion if you think that you can do it better than them, if you think that they are stupid, if you are disrespecting them, right? Think a little bit here with me, right? This is somebody's money you're asking for. This is somebody's time you're asking for. You're asking somebody for something. Drop the entitlement. There we go. Feel the vulnerability instead, because it is vulnerable to ask for something. It's quite interesting because as you progress up the boss ladder, right? And that's something I had to learn. It's very spiritual. It's actually ridiculously spiritual. In the beginning, right? What I was doing at work was very visible. If I was, sending out marketing letters when I worked for the estate agent, or if I was answering calls at reception, everything I did at my job was very, very visible and very, very tangible. And it was all written down and you had it on a task sheet. The more that I grew, especially now that I have my own business with my own employees, a lot of what I do is invisible. A lot of what I do is conversations with team members, is conversations with clients, is conversations with students, is customer care, is like the glue that keeps the company together. It's invisible, but it's necessary and it's important, right? And then when I get to the next level, I will hire somebody else to be the glue. I will hire another CEO to take over. But the higher I went, the less visible, the less tangible my role was. It didn't mean that I don't have a very important role, but it can mean that somebody looking at my role from the outside, right, would think I wasn't doing anything. The same way that a mother's role has an invisible load, a leader's role has an invisible load, right? Especially because most of them don't have enough time to be writing down everything they did that day. Okay. And that's why they often get, secretaries or assistants to help them, because it's in the beginning, you're exchanging time for money, right? And then as you go on, you start to exchange money for time. There we go. But can we just release all this resentment? You're like, oh, they're sitting in there all day on their phone doing nothing. It's not doing nothing. And it's a very tedious job. Fixing everyone's problems, making sure everybody feels seen, heard, and understood. Adapting, because business and money is not like everybody thinks business and money is like this stable thing. It's not. If you think abundance is an ocean, okay, it's constant, but there are waves. The same way that you have to navigate a boat on the ocean, you have to navigate a business on the waves of abundance. So you have a job that, like, when you're in the leadership role, you have the job of making sure your team is feeling seen, heard, and understood, that your clients are feeling seen, heard, and understood, of making sure the books don't just balance, but the business is thriving, of checking and validating and seeing other people's work. It is not the same as the job that your employees are doing, but it is a very important job. Just because you don't understand somebody else's role doesn't mean they do not have a role. There we go. Right. And a lot of this energy is like, oh, my boss just has more money than me. And that's why they're in charge, because they have more money. No, 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 no. They have more money because they are more generous than you. I'm going to say that again. They have more money because they are more generous than you. Your boss every month pays everybody's paycheck, puts food on everybody's table, put a roof over everybody's head before they pay themselves. Okay, so I understand the upside downness. That's the nature of this world and the fear. But the truth is, people rise in direct proportion to their level of generosity and the level of their capacity to receive and to give. Right? When you're at a level of employee, you receive your salary. Your salary is for you and for your family. You don't take care of anybody else. Okay, you and your family is it. When you're at the level of boss, you receive money, and then your job is to divide, allocate that between your team, your employees. They then divide it and take care of all their family as well, and you have to invest it so that it grows, right? So that it can continue to take care of people, so that they can have a legacy, right? Long after you're gone. So the higher you go, even if you're a grumpy pain in the ass, you have to be generous, and you have to be in that vibration of generosity to stamp those paychecks every month, right? There we go. It's not easy. A lot of people get into resentment about it, especially if their employees aren't grateful, especially if they're doing it from a place of fear, especially if they've never done it before and they've never had any abundance training and they don't know how to handle the pressure and they feel all alone. There's a reason why they say it's lonely at the top. There we go. It's releasing all the resentment towards all of the bosses, because you're never going to become a boss if you're resenting the boss. Get me? If you don't think the boss is worthy of being a boss, guess what? You're going to block your own becoming of a boss. Okay. Okay, Ingrid is saying, can you check my son's energy, please? He's been sick and vomiting all day. Thank you. I'm going to bring in Archangel Raphael and just do an instant healing. For your son under the law of grace. It looks like some like when I'm scanning, it looks like some kind of food poisoning. So things like activated charcoal, ginger. Oregano. Oregano is a very powerful anti-parasite, antiviral, antifungal. There we go. Okay. Michelle is saying, hi, Sky. Can I please have guidance on my next step, practical action that I can take now? Okay, angels, show me Michaela. Okay, so when I'm scanning you, your energy is like completely closed. So I think the most practical thing that you need to do is to meditate. You need to open up your energy. There's no amount of action that will help you if your energy is this closed off. So can you please take the walls down? You can't build a business behind a giant tower. Okay, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let your hair down. There we go. Oh, my goodness. Wall after wall after wall. I'm just kind of like got a bowling, like a bat over here, and I'm like breaking down these energetic walls. I'm like, why? My goodness, there we go. This is not protection. This is a prison, sweetheart. Let's take all of this down. Okay. I'm going to do one last one. Angels, who do you want me to do that will help everybody the most? Oh, I'm going to go down to Seema. Hi, Skylar. I want to ask about my eldest son. He's keeping something from me. What is it? Even if I knew that, I wouldn't tell you. I'm so sorry, but I would never betray someone's confidence like that, and neither would their angels. Okay? Um, he's been so closed and not speaking his truth. How can I help him? Thank you. Um, okay, so the first thing first, you're having an integrity problem, right? The fact that you came on here and you're asking me to energetically spy on your son is showing me that you are not respecting his free will, and I wouldn't trust somebody that was willing to do that to me, right? So the first bit is you need to start by taking a fearless moral inventory. If you want your son to be able to connect with you, then you have to learn how to be a safe space, right? You have to raise the bar for integrity. You have to learn how to keep people's confidence. You have to learn how to listen with unconditional positive regard. You have to learn how to communicate. Talking and communication are two very different things. 2-year-olds can talk, right? Communication is about the creation of a genuine connection with another human being, and that requires a lot more than talking. Anybody can talk, right? So there's going to be there's going to be some growth required from you, so that you are able to create trust with him instead of trying to make him trust you Trust cannot be forced. I see relationships between children and parents destroyed by this all the time. Force is not trust. It does not create respect. It does not create anything except fear, right? If you want to be respected, if you want to be trusted, if you want to be loved, then you better learn how to give those things. To teach, to parent. To parent is to be the ultimate teacher. To teach is to demonstrate, not to control. Okay, I'm going to say that again. To teach is to demonstrate, not to control. Right? So our kids do not do what we say. They do what we do. So it's very, very important, right? To say to them, I know I've been shut down. I know I'm not letting you into my life. I know I'm expecting you, right, to trust me when I do not trust you. I know I'm expecting you to respect me when I do not respect you. So there's going to be some changes in our household. We're going to make some decisions together about what the house rules are. We're going to do some courses together, online parenting courses. We're going to do some communication courses. We are going to grow together, right? Because we deserve to have a loving family. We deserve to feel close. We deserve to heal whatever is between us. And we're going to do it together. So you want to make the problem, right, the behaviors that are making your family unsafe to have real communication and communion. And you want, as a family, to be working on these as a team. You do not want to be forcing. Okay, you do not want to be forcing other people. Not only does it not work, it doesn't, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter how much you scream at your children. It doesn't matter how much you spy on your children. It doesn't matter how much you discipline your children. It's fear, it's fear, it's fear, it's fear, it's fear, it's goddamn fear. It will always be fear, right? And the only thing that can come from fear is, guess what? You got it, more fear. So if you are afraid your child is pulling away from you, and you go into that conversation from a place of force, which is more fear, guess what's going to manifest? Your child pulling even further away from you. Okay, so if you go into the conversation from a place of love, right, and you say to your child, I'm here, I recognize that I've made a lot of mistakes and that you no longer trust me. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I am going to change. Right? Then you have a chance to recreate the relationship, a chance to heal what's been broken. Okay? But it's time for a level up. Okay? So anybody that's struggling with this with their parenting, it's time for a level up. We're going to do a level up, level up. It's time for a real fearless moral inventory. It's time to really take a look in the mirror. Are you the kind of person you want your kid to become? Do you want your kid to grow up manipulative, controlling, spying, forcing? Do you want your kid to grow up not trusting life? Do you want your kid to grow up not knowing how to communicate? Do you want your kid to grow up not taking responsibility? Do you want your kid to grow up treating their partner the way you treat your partner? How do you want them to grow up? Because it's who you are being, not what you are saying. Do you want your child never to have time for you? Because if you're not making time for your child, that's what's going to happen. Okay. Thank you so much. It was his birthday yesterday and we went out to eat. I thought it might be something to do with the food. Yeah, it was definitely to do with the food, darling. Okay. I'm going to do our closing prayer, and then I will see you guys tomorrow. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended, our pain be lifted, to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.